In our second discussion on the contradictions in the Qur'an, we will look at the topic of the Qibla, the direction of prayer. During the time of Muhammad, the Jews faced Jerusalem, and pagan Arabs faced the Kaaba in Mecca. When Muhammad and his followers migrated to Medina, Jerusalem was established as the direction of prayer. However, the direction was soon changed to the Kaaba in Mecca. The Quranic reference for the change is found in Surah 2, ayahs 142 to 144. I have linked this in the description. This raised concerns in the Muslim community that the change could not have come from Allah. How could Allah, within a few months, change his mind? Men change their minds when they learn from their mistakes, but God does not make mistakes. Apparently, because of their concerns, Allah revealed the ayahs in Surah 2, claiming that it was done to test the faith of the Muslims. But this is not consistent with Surah 2, 115, which declares that God is everywhere, and the direction faced when praying shouldn't matter. And some Muslims were concerned about the effect of the change of direction on those who had already died. Therefore, the question is, does the direction matter or not? The answer comes in Surah 2, ayah 143, which says that for those who faced Jerusalem before this ayah, their prayers are valid. And I quote, by the mercy of Allah. You can read the background for the change in Sahih Bukhari, Volume 1, Book 2, number 39. All communal prayers by Muslims are offered facing the Kaaba, and there are ahadith that say that if certain unclean people or animals are directly in front of the person praying, their prayers are interrupted. This suggests that the direction of prayer is vitally important, because if God was truly everywhere and it did not matter which direction we turned, it wouldn't matter who was directly in front of us, and our prayers would not be interrupted. However, some Muslim scholars consider Surah 2, ayah 115 to be abrogated by the other ayahs mentioned. And please also see Surah 2, ayah 145 on facing another Qibla. If one considers and supports that Surah 2, ayah 115 is not abrogated, and that Allah is everywhere, and that the direction is unimportant, then the only option left is that the Qur'an is inconsistent regarding this matter. Either it should not matter the direction faced during prayer, or it does. Clearly, Surah 2, ayah 145, which is a continuation of ayahs 142 to 144, states plainly that if Muslims were to follow another Qibla, they would indeed be in the wrong. Note also that some Muslim scholars take the position that it is preferred to pray facing the Kaaba, but not obligatory. They quote Sahih Hadith, clearly showing that when the Prophet Muhammad was travelling, he would say his prayers while facing in the direction he was riding, and not the Kaaba. Unfortunately for that, what is not known is the time of the events reported in some of these Hadith. Therefore, the question is, was it before or after Surah 2, ayah 145 was revealed? This should therefore be considered a discrepancy because both sets of ayahs cannot be true. Clearly, a study of the internal evidence concerning the direction of prayer casts doubt on the Qur'an's integrity and reliability. By comparison, the Bible is consistent and clear from beginning to end. This includes instruction on the path to salvation and how the believer ought to live their life before God. The believer in Jesus is guided by his word. For example, in Matthew chapter 6, where we find the Lord's Prayer, speaking to believers, Jesus also says this, "And when you pray, you must not be like the hypocrites, for they love to stand and pray in the synagogues and at the street corners, that they may be seen by others. Truly I say to you, they have received their reward. But when you pray, go into your room and shut the door, and pray to your Father who is in secret. And your Father who sees in secret will reward you." My prayer as you consider the contradictions in the Qur'an is that you will ask God to reveal the truth to you through His Word, the Bible. You see, to pray as described by Jesus in Matthew chapter 6 and to call God your Father, it is first necessary to trust in Jesus for your salvation. When you do, God promises to save you eternally. He will speak to you through His Word, and you will know communion with Him through speaking to Him in prayer. May God bless you and lead you into all truth.